Hi, I look like a disaster. I had to lay down and take a little nap because I had a little bit of a headache. But I want to talk about, I'm eating beets and feta cheese. It's phenomenal, by the way. Beets also, if you're someone who kind of has borderline blood pressure, or you're someone who is trying to lose weight to come off of some medications, adding beets to your diet on a regular basis increases nitric oxide. So it actually causes your blood vessels to dilate, and it actually lowers your blood pressure. So if you're someone who likes beets and your blood pressure is kind of creeping up, add more beets on a regular basis to your diet and see if that doesn't help you. But what I want to talk about today is I actually want to talk about detox. Because so many people think that detox is like something that you do every once in a while. And it isn't. Your body is detoxing all the time. Your kidneys are detoxing, your sinuses, your lungs, your kidneys, your liver is detoxing on a continuous basis. And your skin is always detoxing. Right now, I'm detoxing big time because I am having this perioral dermatitis that I've had for a couple of weeks now. So what I'm doing is actually supporting my liver, because whenever your liver gets backed up, it's having to deal with a whole lot of stuff, then you're going to see some skin eruptions. You can see rashes, you can see redness, you can see breakouts. You can have that like tingly kind of itchy sort of feeling. You can have a bump up in your, if you have rosacea, you can have flares. So our skin is kind of our backup detox pathway if our liver is working harder than what it should, or if maybe it needs a little boost, a little extra support. So what I've done is I've just increased the number of anti-inflammatory medication foods that I eat, not medications. I don't take any medications, but I've just increased the anti-inflammatory foods that I eat, and I have actually done a couple of things with digestive enzymes that actually help the flow of bile. And then one thing that I always do, because I don't have a gallbladder anymore, is that I make sure that I actually support my bile flow, and I make sure that I'm pooping. Because the last thing, one thing that we don't often think about or we don't talk about when we're talking about detox, I think people recognize that, you can detox through a lot of different organs. I think people are under the impression that you can force your body to detox. You cannot. You can only support your body as it's detoxing. You can give your body less to detox. You can support your body as it's detoxing, but you can't really force it to detox. And then there are alternate pathways that our major detox organs, like our liver and our kidneys, are going to use, which is our skin, if they're backed up. But so you can't really force your body to detox, but you can support it. Detox is going on all the time. So I'm doing those couple of things, but I think one of the things that we don't think about is that if our body is processed, so let's talk about the liver. If our liver has processed all the things that it needs to process, and that is toxins, inflammatory byproducts, chemicals, glyphosate, like all the things that our body has to deal with on a regular basis, from our food, from our water, from our skincare, from our makeup, from our household items, from our cookware, from our fragrances in our house, like everything we have to detox from. Our liver has to detox that. But if our liver is spending all of this energy, using its precious energy, and it is packaging up these toxins, and it is sending it out of the body in the stool, and then you are constipated, what you're doing is you are reabsorbing that what is meant to be out of the body. You're reabsorbing it along with the water that you're reabsorbing from the stool, which is why your stools get hard. And then you're sending it back to the liver, and guess what? Your liver has to package it up again and try to send it out again. So pooping is one of the major things that you need to be that you need to make sure that you're doing if you are trying to support your detox pathways. Another one is sweating. Sweating is actually a really good thing. That's one of the major ways that we actually, detox it through the skin is through sweat. So we can't force it, we have to support it, and then there are multiple ways that we can detox. So one of the things that I did want to say is that if your body is dealing with a lot of inflammation, remember the first thing that we want to do is cut down on what our body has to detox from. But if you're dealing with a lot of inflammation, let's say you have a bad gut, that's usually where inflammation starts, is in the gut. Gut is foundational to all health. Everything starts in the gut. But if your body is having to deal with a lot of inflammation and that sort of thing, it is not going to spend its energy detoxing. It's going to target its energy to actually protecting the body from inflammation, making sure that it's building, the white blood cells that go out and treat and fight inflammation. It's going to be putting its energy into those things, and it's actually not going to be detoxing. Doesn't matter how hard you try to push it. Doesn't matter how many supplements you take. It doesn't matter. Because your body has to have a stable environment before it will start detoxing. So if there's a lot of inflammation going on, if you have poor nutritional status, if your gut is in a mess, if you're still taking in all that inflammatory stuff, if you're still taking in all of that stuff that you need to detox from, your body is going to go into protection mode, and it's really going to protect you, and it's going to worry about detoxing later. Because what it does is it actually hides things in your fat cells, which is another reason that when all of this stuff is going on and you're not able to lose weight, like you feel like you're gaining the weight right around the middle, or you're like, my weight loss has stalled, more often than not, you need to look at your environment. That's diet, that's products that are around you, what you're taking into the body in multiple different ways. That's your air, your water, your food, your environment. And so you have to stabilize that environment before you can think about detoxing. Now, one of the best ways to actually detox your body is through minerals. Most of us have at least one mineral deficiency or mineral abnormality, and that's one of the reasons that I was so excited to add hair tissue mineral analysis to the what I offer as far as testing goes, because it works on so much all at once. So one of the things that hair tissue mineral analysis looks at is it looks at your individual mineral status, and then it also looks at your ratios, like how those minerals relate to each other. And if you decide that you're going to do a mineral replenishment, that is a very personalized thing. Like I go through with a fine-tooth comb and we put all the minerals that you need, because you can't just play whack-a-mole with your minerals. Like you can't just willy-nilly add minerals, because one mineral affects multiple other minerals. So you can't just, for example, you can't just replenish zinc because that affects your copper. You can't just replenish sodium because that affects your potassium, or it's not easy to replenish magnesium because that is affected by your calcium. So you kind of see that everything has a relationship to everything else. So when we replenish minerals, we oftentimes replenish all of them in varying amounts so that we can create an environment where your body is actually able to start detoxing itself. And as a matter of fact, I'm just now, there's education for when someone has a first mineral test done with you, but then when you do another mineral test to kind of see how the body responds to that, there's a whole different bit of information and how you look at that information. So I just went over a hair tissue mineral retest for someone. And on that first test that they had, it showed that they had a little bit of lead in their that their body was detoxing. It was in their tissues. And I tell people that, just because you don't have any of these heavy metals in this tissue test doesn't mean that you don't have heavy metals in your body. It means that there's probably a mineral or two or some other process going on in the body where those heavy metals are actually being really hidden from the body because the body isn't capable of detoxing it yet. And one of the spark plugs to detox is actually minerals. Magnesium is one of those big minerals. Sodium is one of those big minerals. Zinc actually helps us with copper. So there's a really big play in all of this. So what we found out is that we actually saw that she had more heavy metals on her retest than what she had on her first test, because we were actually changing the environment of the cell so that the cell was actually able to detox things. It was actually able to get some things out of the cell, out of hiding. And it was now showing up in the tissues because the body was getting rid of it. So I just want to say that you have to stabilize your environment before you're going to be able to detox. You cannot force your body to detox. As a matter of fact, it will not detox if you're trying to force it. And the best way to support your detox pathways is to give them less to detox. That's going to be cleaning up your diet, seed oils, processed foods, prepackaged foods. Gluten is a huge one. Dairy is a big one. GMOs, natural flavorings, those kinds of things. Those are the things that you want to stay away from. You also want to minimize microplastics. So if you're drinking out of a plastic water bottle, you really need to get rid of that. And you need to have a metal or a glass bottle. If you are using nonstick cookware, Teflon, I know some people that work at the Teflon plant, and they have been told that Teflon is safe, that the Teflon is bound so well to the cookware that it will not chip off. That is a lie. There's no Teflon out there that is indestructible. It all chips off and it all ends up in our in the food that we're cooking in that product. Fluoride in your water and in your toothpaste, chlorine in your in your water. There are fragrances. I know they smell great, but most of them are endocrine disruptors, meaning that they are affecting the messages that your hormones are sending to your cells. So your cells are getting confused. And when we're talking about hormones, yes, we're talking about estrogen and progesterone and testosterone. But more importantly, we're talking about cortisol, insulin, thyroid hormone. Those are the ones that are also getting disrupted. And those are the ones that we see more often. Your body is never going to worry about your sex hormones until it has your cortisol, your insulin, your thyroid hormone in good balance. So endocrine disruptors, from Sense, for women, we run into about twice as many toxins a day as what men do in our homes. I'm not talking about out there in our work environments. That's a whole different thing. But in our homes, because women tend to use more skincare, more self-care items, they tend to some people wear makeup, and most of that makeup has forever chemicals in there. Sodium lauryl sulfate is a big one that's in soaps and that sort of thing. A lot of skincare, a lot of face washes, a lot of shampoos, and that's a forever chemical. So once it's in your body, it's in your body to stay. Your body doesn't know how to. We don't have anything to help your body get rid of it. So you really need to be careful, and you need to be taking inventory. And then let's talk about all the stuff that's in our water. Depending on your water source, that could be worse than other people. I have a counter filtration device that was like $270, and I don't buy any bottled water. I just use a non-BPA glass, water bottle that I carry around, and I filter all of my water. And I have noticed a significant improvement because my body doesn't detox like everybody else's does. Mine needs a lot of support in order to be able to do that genetically. That's just how I'm wired. water. Sound can be something that actually causes stress in the body. Light can be something that causes stress in the body. And whenever we have stress, we're producing these products that our body needs to detox from. So there's a ton of things in our environment. We are adding I think I read somewhere where it was like 20 to 50,000 new toxins in our environment, like every 5 years. And, I've been here 5 decades. So think about how much and how quickly things are rising. So in the next 5 years, it might be 40,000 new chemicals that are getting. So you really have to, the first step is to limit what's going in your body, limit what your body needs to detox from. Number 2 is to support your detox. Don't ever think that you can force your body to detox. And the third thing is that there has to be some form of stability in the environment, in your internal environment, before your body is ever going to expend energy to detox. And if you've been hearing what I'm saying and you're like, okay, I need a mineral test, just send me a message below or personal message me, and I will let you know how that goes. I'll let you know how to order it. All right, guys, happy Friday. I hope everybody has a good weekend. The weather is great. There's a lot of pollen. I still have the door open. I'm just going to have to vacuum the floor a whole lot more. And we went to the vet today, and both for once, it was just everybody needed updated on their medications. Zena actually, she has seizures, and she actually went up on her daily seizure medication, which gives me a little bit of, I just felt like she needed a little bit more. It gives me a little more insurance. And then we don't have to check that again for 6 months, which is good. And she hates to get in the car. I don't know why, but she really hates to get in the car. But today she just jumped in the car. And so maybe she's kind of getting used to it and not so fearful of it, which makes me happy. And then Zozo gained 6 pounds in a month. And, the vet said she still looks good. So she got her second parvo shot. She's got one more parvo shot, but he did say that we can start socializing her a little bit, so we can kind of, can't go to dog parks and that sort of thing where there's a big concentration of dogs. But I can take her on walks. I can have little meet and greets with 1 or 2 other little puppies and do that sort of thing. So I'm excited about that. So blood pressure issues, I want you to eat your beets, and I'll see you next week.